Are we in fact live? Hi, I'm Acid Girl. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What a harrowing week it's been for me. I have not been filming myself because of acid burns on half of my face. It's still healing, but I didn't want to let a week pass for the Cafe Gallery 2020 book reading series, or the reenactment of the reading series, because on some days I would start at 7 o'clock and I'd have to start going at 7 because the open mic couldn't stop and had to be done by 9 o'clock, and there wouldn't be anybody there yet. So I would read things from recent Scars Publications books, which I've been doing in this, and so I thought I would read to you, hey, there's stuff going on over there, read to you some poems from past week or so, maybe, from the Scars Publications poetry book, Every Event of the Year. This is volume 2, is for July through December, and it has a lot of crazy different pieces that reflect different themes. So it's a surprising thing when you can go from one day to the next and have a different theme on stuff. So I wanted to do stuff starting from last week because I didn't get to share poetry from this book. And I thought I would start with the day that Christopher Columbus discovered America, technically October 12th. And that is why I've got this poem marked with I've passed my COVID-19 test bookmark. And this poem is called One Would Be Chosen. When I was 6 years old, Chicago weatherman Harry Volkman came to visit our grade school, and all of the little kids were asked to make a card for him, and one would be chosen, and the winner would get be on stage to meet the famed Chicago weatherman. Believe it or not, my card won with the limerick. Columbus discovered America in 1492, and I discovered a weatherman when I discovered you. And glory be, I took those steps to get up onto that stage and shake that weatherman's hand. And of course, I was 6. Our country had existed for 200 years, but the little girl in the first grade had no idea of about the history of our country, what it really was, and I still don't. But being how only now people want to claim this day marked for exploration as a day to honor those indigenous tribes who were all but destroyed. I look back on my country. Yes, I call it mine. All my grandparents traveled to the United States to live here. Some chose to learn the language, some did not. But this land, your land, my land, is all I know. My history is here. This is my home. But when I look back on my country with the history of bloodshed in independence, our bloodshed in slavery, our bloodshed for civil rights, our bloodshed for... We seem to be a bloody country. Wait, I thought I was not going to be using a British term here. But I don't know what I'm supposed to think of my history, of what made us, us. Should I be waving a flag in blind faith? Should I be protesting the best life on this globe anyone could ever imagine? Or should I try to understand how this tattered but resilient quilt is only a part of my history, and then try to do my damnedest to, instead of apologizing for a past I had nothing to do with, understand these pieces, but this resilient quilt that is my history, and try to make some sense and try to make my future of my home be as beautiful as it was meant to be. That's a lot to cover on a thing for the day that Christopher Columbus discovered America. So I thought I'd go to the next page for it because another holiday for October 12th is actually National Farmers Day. And I've got 2 poems for that holiday. First one is obvious because it's called Farmer. This is for National Farmers Day on October 12th. And just north of his cornfield, there is a college. The university has bought up the property right to the edge of his land. And at that university, there's a man studying plant biology. He wants to do research in food genetics, create the perfect ear of corn. And the farmer knows this. All he wanted was to be able to make a living, maybe save up enough so his kid could walk over to campus every morning, maybe meet some new kids. The government assistance has run out now. This state wants to push this school south an extra mile, put up a research lab, another dormitory. The drought has done nothing good for his field anyway, and the doctors say that lump under his shoulders from the sun. And all these years, he would wake up early Sundays to work, and he would find tire tracks from souped-up cars digging into his property edge, kids leaving beer cans, junk food wrappers, condoms, and he would pick up what he could. In the upcoming years, would his little boy do this to someone else? And this was his labor. He had sown the seeds, the plants running, hurdling the rolling hills, sprinting in uniform in the marathon, and all the way to the street, to the edge of his property, that green sign reading 1800 South. All the way to the edge was his life, his little earth, in straight rows, like the peas on a son's plates when he played with his food. And now the rows of corn are less straight, as if in recent years he didn't care. This year it's the worst yet. He didn't bother with the right chemicals, and now there are weeds in between the rows. The grass next to his house is almost up to his waist, and he's awake now. It's 4 a.m, and he's wandering out in it all, and he's almost crazy. The grass waves, almost staggers, like him. And he thinks, let the weeds grow. Ladies and gentlemen, that was for October 4th from the book Every Event of the Year, Volume 2, July through December. And there is one more poem that is listed for National Farmers Day, although it is less farmer related, and it's called Verdant Green. Journey across these northern states, leave the hustle and bustle of the morning commute in Chicago. Drive through Indiana, just past dawn, see fog hovering over fields, past Gary, Valparaiso, Notre Dame. And keep your glasses on, not only because the sun in the cloudless sky is so ominously bright, but because the fields you drive past are so damn bright. Every crevice covered with lush verdant leaves from moisture-rich fields springing forth life. And even your eyes need protection from that green, because even Chicago has vines in bloom covering buildings, wrapping over tree trunks. So continue through Ohio and beyond the standing bales of hay. Lift your sunglasses every once in a while just to shock your eyes with the verdant green all around you. Even the metal fences are covered with thick, lush foliage because everything grows here. Everything is alive with a force you've been aching to feel since subjected to the semi-arid desert summers of triple digits and no water to quench your soul. Look to your left, see acres of corn stalks, and then look to your right, broad leaves of protein-rich beans. It may shock your senses, but this is life, and you need to remind yourself of the brightness, this brightness of life, before you enter Pennsylvania, and need to pop your ears from the rising and falling mountains covered in forests you could only dream about. Inhale. Take a deep breath and breathe life in. Believe it or not, it gets more moist the further east you go, and the plants here are the proof. They're giving you the oxygen you need. Thank them by letting out your deep carbon dioxide breath. Fly past the occasional flowering sproutings along the road on your journey and smile when you see how vibrant life can be. Wow, that was a cool one to read. I hope you enjoyed those pieces. They were for Farmers Day, National Farmers Day, but I thought I'd skip from, I was reading things for the 12th, but I didn't read something for the 11th. I've got a piece, a short one here, for the first woman actually going for a walk in outer space. And that's on October 11th. And this is a short piece called Vacuum of Space. The men kept pushing that envelope. Of course, they had to be first. Because when you stop holding us back, we will surprise you with the power of our minds. So, on a day like today, watch me do all the work. Watch me strap into that bulky spacesuit just to walk in the vacuum of space, just so I, for once, will finally feel on my own. So I will no longer feel like I'm under your thumb. All right, I'm going to skip ahead to October 13th because I'm going to catch up to, hopefully, if we've got enough time, I'll catch up to our time now for reading poems for events of the year for you. This is your poems from the book Every Event of the Year, Volume 2, July through December. And this is for the 13th. This is for Good Samaritan Day. October 13th is Good Samaritan Day. And this is a poem for it that is called No Bother. While visiting family in Southwest Florida in my teen years, I sat outside in the sun next to the public pool until I heard splashing. I opened my eyes, saw a man teaching his son how to swim. Then, they had visited family here in the heat during holiday season. I wanted to cool off in the public pool as this foreign father was trying to teach his 15-year-old special needs son how to swim a lap. Now, I swim, and I felt exasperated that they both struggled so. So, when I got in the pool, I asked the father if I could try to help teach his boy to swim. I think I caught him off guard, hesitant but hopeful. So I talked to his son about swimming, the width of the shallow end. I think he knew when to turn his head, to get some air, but the thing was he was just lost on what to do with his arms. Your arms are buckets, I told him, so arc your arms and swoop that water past you. And pretty soon he was getting the hang of swimming and fought the water less, so I enjoyed the pool, now in silence. Before I went on my way, I realized I was doing something that would be helpful for the both of us. Now, whenever that father came back to visit and would see me there, he would thank me profusely for what I had done that day, but I knew how to swim, and it would be no bother. I think people think of doing things like this at times like this, but they never act on it. Their thoughts never percolate into reality. And the thing is, it can happen if you just act on your beliefs, and you'll see how much better life can feel while doing these small acts. Oh, this is the fun thing about this book, Every Event of the Year, Volume 2, July through December, because you go from one day to the next. You just saw things about Farmer and Verdant Green and doing good things, and then on the next day, October 14th, that's actually Erwin Rommel's birthday, who was in the SS in World War II. So I have a piece here that was about the day that Erwin Rommel died, which was on the 14th of October, and this is called Valkyrie Attempts. I told you to change from one theme to the next instantly. This is called Valkyrie Attempts. In the absence of orders, go find something and kill it. People have credited me with those infamous words, but in the art of war, you have to make yourself useful. How can you want to kill something if you love it so? So, if I love the Fuhrer, and I do, how could I want him dead? I opposed assassinating Hitler, at least initially. The 31 may have been I may have been hopelessly naive to ask for one last chance to end the hostilities with Western allies, but my letter to him took 2 weeks to arrive, after 17 July, when the Allied air attack incapacitated me. That wasn't my way of exiting their Valkyrie attempts 3 days later. I had no idea their plans. I believe they wanted my support, but I could not give it, even if I thought this was now a hopeless war. But if I knew of the conspiracy and said nothing, if I did not report these things, and to have them all killed, then I'm as much of a conspirator too. I'm just as guilty as the conspirator who repeatedly even actually called out my name in a delirium. Maybe I am guilty as a conspirator who only after torture named me as a participant. I did not know my name was on a list of the potential Reich president after Hitler's upheaval. But as I said, all I knew is that it was the end, and I could only look for ways to help Germany survive. If that meant that I would take over and I would take over the helm, then so be it. But conspirator or not, I never wanted to kill him. Never. But after they surveilled me, I knew they wanted me killed. But I think Hitler knew that his court of military honor was really only a drumhead court martial that everyone knew was fake, that I was too high up the military ladder to be thought of as against the Nazis. Executing me as a traitor would ruin the morale of the front line. So they came to me and they offered me 3 choices. They told me that I could, 1, go to Hitler himself and plead my case. 2, I could go through this trial that I knew would mean not only my extermination, my execution and disgrace, but also that of my staff and my family too. Or 3, I could take my own life. I think they all knew that by my not choosing option 1, this ensured I was guilty. But how could I plead my case if I didn't report or kill the conspirators myself? My family would have suffered even before the trial began, and I wanted my wife to live. I wanted her to have money for her life and my family without me, and so I took option 3, so that after I died, I would be given a military honors, because really, I was a hero. I was never involved in a plot. I loved the Fuhrer. After I'm gone, burn my body so there will be no evidence of my true end. Your ultimatum. I may be an absolute pessimist when I face the slightest problem, but I was a strong leader, and my initiative stopped enemy forces. I took them by surprise. That was my constant for my love for Germany. Remember that. Sorry, these are wild. I actually really like this. I'm going to share with you a few more. Why not? Because I feel like it. This one, oh, I've got a short one here. This is actually for the third Tuesday in October, which is Face Your Fears Day. And the cool thing about this book, at times, every event of the year, Volume 2, July through December, is that if there's a short poem and it was released as an Instagram image, we'll get that in there as well. So you get to see those as well when there are short pieces like this. This is actually for International Face Your Fears Day. Get ready for it. This is called Everyone Will React. When standing on the ledge, you wonder how everyone will react. Then you begin to wonder what it would feel like when you start to fall. Face Your Fears Days does not necessarily mean something bad like jumping off of a building to your death. It could be jumping out of an airplane, doing some sort of skydiving or the paragliding or anything like that. So you face your fears, and so that's what that one was for. Face Your Fears Day is the third Tuesday in October. This one is, however, oh, I haven't read this one for you guys. This is for October 16th, which is actually World Cat Day. World Cat Day. And the cool thing about this one is that there were two Instagram images for it, one with a stray and one with our own cat. So you got to hear parts of it in two different Instagram images. This is for World Cat Day, which is on October 16th, and this poem is called Know They Are Loved. When visiting a farm, we'd see stray cats roaming near the barn. That's when I learned the farmer will leave milk or spare food so that these cats wouldn't go hungry, and barns were home. I don't live in a barn, but if I see a cat on a nearby street, I assume it is not a stray, and I try to give love from a distance. They never come closer, but I try. And when I see a stray walking on our yard, I bring out a bowl of dry food and 1 or 2 bowls of water because of the insane heat here. I made a point to not come too close. I put the food down, walk away, and then the stray feels comfortable enough to devour food, water, and I look for them the next day to give them more food and water, to let them know they can feel safe here. They are loved. Then I come inside, see one of my cats curled up in the chair that's next to my desk in my office. I stop my work, turn to her, scratch her ear, pet her a bit, to share the love. Aww. For Cat Day, October 16th. I think we'll try a few. Yeah, I'll end it on a happy note, but I'll give you a few more because we may as well try to move forward with our days. This is for October 17th. Dun dun dun. This is for World Trauma Day. This poem is called You Don't Expect It. When something terrible happens, when you found out you have cancer, or someone you love has cancer, or maybe it's ALS, or a life-threatening illness, You're shocked with the news, and then you, for weeks or months or years, slowly start to deal with all the pain that will slowly come. It's a terrible thing, but the first thing that came was the news of this demon. To prepare yourself for the excruciating uphill battle. It's a terrible thing to live through when your loved one, the one was once strong, someone suffers so, and it is worse for the victim, the one faced with fighting this painful uphill battle, because even after survival, they are still carrying the scars of the fateful trauma. But there is one trauma that seems painfully worse than hearing something awful that at least you have time to prepare for. Because it could happen to any one of us crossing a street or stopping in your car at an intersection. Some stupid mistake by someone else could almost kill you or someone you love. And what do you do then, with no time to prepare yourself for the terrible news, other than wait in a hospital, hopelessly trying to piece the pieces back together? Wow. I might read two more for you. I don't have my clock here, so I'm going to give you two more, because there are probably, when I was running the open mic, there'd probably be plenty of people running up to start up the open mic now, so I will end with two more and leave it on a happier note for the last one for you guys. This first one, is actually for October 18th, which is when the first space probe actually hit another planet's atmosphere. That was on October 18th, and this is that was in 1968, I think that happened. But this is a very short piece. It's called Violent Endeavour. We were in a mad race to see who would go first. We wanted to try something entirely different, not knowing it would be such a violent endeavor that indicated how we'd soon destroy each other. That was the Soviets' Venera 4 that actually went to Venus. And that was about us trying to compete with an absolutely diametrically opposite political system and moral system. So that's an intriguing piece for that. But I'm going to end on a better note for that one, because I'm going to talk about the third Saturday in October, which varies from month to month, and it's called Sweetest, and it's for Sweetest Day. So this poem I'm going to share with you, the last one for you guys, is called Every Day is Sweetest Day. Concocted by candy makers, this Midwestern U.S. holiday was spearheaded by the Sweetest Day Committee to give away boxes of candy. Since Sweetest Day was invented for companies to make more money, it has been branded as a Hallmark holiday, even though Hallmark had nothing to do with it. And it's true. It's just another generic man-made holiday. But my first date with my first boyfriend was on Sweetest Day, and he took me to a nice restaurant in town, the nicest one, and he treated me like a princess. So, I may be biased. It might be romantic of me to try to romanticize Sweetest Day, but remember that Aristotle said that romanticism was not depicting life as it was, but as it should be, how it ought to be. Because if you meet that just right someone who will give you roses after knowing you for 5 days, who will draw baths for you, who would carry you down a mountain, who may want to you may start to wonder why you even need that Hallmark holiday for anyway. Every day is the sweetest day when you meet that just right someone. Because how sweet it is, indeed, when you realize that every day is the sweetest day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you've heard it through Sweetest Day in this book. Every event of the year, Volume 2, July through December. I hope you've enjoyed your reading. It's been fun doing weekly readings for you guys in honor of reading things at the beginning of open mics before poets would show up to fill up a space for an open mic. I hope everyone is remaining safe right now. I hope everyone is remaining creatively inclined right now. And if anyone out there is feeling that they are stuck and lost and alone, I want everyone out there to know that they are loved. You are. And we'll get through this. And I look forward to seeing you all. And if you guys need anything, please, there is someone close to you. Find them because you're worth it. Thank you once again, and maybe we'll get another installment of the Cafe Gallery book reading series soon. I want everyone to stay safe, and thank you so very much for listening. Thank you.